Is a civic duty. Let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Good evening to all of you faithful viewers of Equinoxe Television. It's 6 p.m. in Douala and it's time for the news. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our major stories this evening: a melancholic morning today in Matom in the central region of Cameroon. At least 7 persons lost their lives earlier today in a road accident which happened at Matom, some kilometers away from Yaoundé. The accident, or the double accident, happened following a collision of a truck and a transport bus. As passengers were being assisted, another bus bumped into those assisting the first victims. Local authorities say several people died on the spot while others have been rushed to hospitals for medical attention. Details of a sad Tuesday in Matom in this edition of the news. Plus, Cameroonians, especially artists, have been shouting at the top of their voices for justice to take its course following the brutal killing of 6-year-old Matisse in Goaikele in Yaoundé. Women in Yaoundé, all dressed in black and wailing, have protested in front of the 5th police station in Yaoundé for Dagobert Wafo to be judged accordingly. The assassin has been taken to the Konegi maximum prison in Yaoundé. That was this afternoon. Viewers, those are our lead stories. Stay with us as we bring to you greater details of the stories and even more. Welcome back, viewers. We thank you so much for the confidence. We told you a while ago in the headlines that Cameroonians, especially artists, have been shouting at the top of their voices for justice to take its course following the brutal killing of baby Matisse, 6-year-old, in the Goaikele neighborhood in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Women in Yaoundé, all dressed in black and wailing, have protested in front of the 5th police station in Yaoundé for Dagobert Wafo to be judged accordingly. And as we got into the studio, the assassin we got from our reporters in Yaoundé has finally been taken to the Konegi maximum prison. Let's have more with Mala Glory.
These women, reportedly from the late Matisse neighborhood, stormed the streets of Yaoundé, marched to the 5th police district, demanding justice for the innocent child stabbed to death by his father's friend on May 10, 2025. In the same vein, Cameroonian artists have decided to speak out. On their different social media handles, they condemn the murder of the little boy and calling for the authorities concerned to act fast. Magasco, on his Facebook page, while calling for justice for Matisse, highlights the fact that there are so many cases of injustice from the northwest and southwest regions of the country. This is linked to the ongoing crisis that has recorded so many deaths in the past years. Malox, in his Facebook live video, he cries out for justice, frowning at the slow pace in which the matter is being treated in court. To Malox, the man should be killed just the way he killed the 6-year-old boy. He furthers that the delay is because the family is voiceless. Malox called on all Cameroonians to rise up and fight for the little Matisse, saying it can happen to anyone.
Quand vous protégez le tueur là, vous protégez l'assassin, le père évident là, c'est quand vous dites que vous allez protéger vos propres enfants.
Lady Pons says justice for Matisse. Indira Baboke, the gospel singer, calls for divine justice for the little boy, calling on those who have the power to bring clarity, to hear the cry of Cameroonians. Meantime, sources reveal that the suspected murderer, Dagobert Wafo, has finally appeared in court this May 27 to answer to his crimes. Expectations are thus high from Cameroonians for a positive result.
And like I mentioned a while ago, as we got into the studio, we had information from our reporters in Yaoundé that the assassin of Matisse, Dagobert Wafo, has finally been taken to the Kondengi Maximum Prison in Yaoundé. Sure, we are following the development of that story, and we will be bringing to you details as the story unfolds in our subsequent news editions.
We to Rock Farm in Bay Village are some forces of the Santa Public Security.
We were telling you a while ago that public security forces in Santa, in the Mesam division of the Northwest region, have arrested an ex-convict allegedly into the growing or cultivation of Indian hemp and marijuana in the Bay Village. The security forces were able to arrest the cultivator following a tip-off gotten from the local inhabitants of that village. Let's now have more with Magic and Gabriel.
On the way to Rock Farm in Bay Village are some forces of the Santa Public Security Post going down for a fact-finding mission, accompanied by the Divisional Officer of Santa, Jules Roger Nkolomvundi. The victim was an alleged Indian hemp cultivator. It is a turning point in the fight to maintain peace in the subdivision. It's not been long that a youth, after consuming Indian hemp, assassinated his father. We are urging our population to collaborate with us because this great catch was thanks to information from a patriotic citizen. The security officers worked on information from a concerned nation builder, which enabled them to carry out their investigations until the arrest of the alleged owner of the Indian hemp farm.
The information we had yesterday, and we are happy to present to you this sample of banga that was removed from this farm, cultivated by this young man that is there. I think your message also to the population have been answered, and we want to reassure you that we'll always be there to put these type of things out of use for our population.
The owner of the Indian hemp farm is alleged to be an ex-convict. It was an opportunity for the divisional officer of Santa to send this message to those still in the bush. We are calling on the boys still in the bush to come out because Santa is a blessed land where they could engage in agriculture. Santa has a good soil to grow cabbage, carrots, and green spices, which are all highly recommended in our markets, and government could also support them. On several occasions, authorities and locals have suffered multiple harassment from armed men, many of whom are said to be operating under the influence of these drugs.
Still on insecurity, the Southwest Customs sector has intensified surveillance and vigilance across all units, and this has yielded to significant seizures, including large consignments of drugs, illicit chemicals, and counterfeit Cameroon Indomitable Lions jerseys, among other prohibited items. Davidson Maimo tells us more from Nimbe.
The Southwest Customs sector has intensified surveillance and vigilance across all units, following directives from the hierarchy.
It's not easy to work in a situation like what we are going through at this time in the Southwest. We are doing our best to maintain the surveillance. We are doing our best to fight strongly against those who are doing smuggling.
Under the leadership of Task Force Commander Ashil Kandem,
the mission doing on the field by the Commandant de Groupement oblige people not to go through the bush, but to really come to the office and clear normally their goals.
Mobile Brigade unit heads have made significant seizures, including chemicals used to produce improvised explosive devices, illicit drugs, adulterated fuel, and prohibited goods such as counterfeit Cameroon's Indomitable Lions jerseys at the Idina port.
We seized tramadol. We just gathered the information that the value of that tramadol is almost 100 million.
Unit chiefs have implemented effective strategies to combat the influx of prohibited and adulterated goods.
The chief of brigade that I'm using here and my inspector who is always in the field, they are so vigilant.
Any goods that is caught that is contraband or illegal, we know exactly from which vehicle it came, and the owners of the vehicle or the transporter or the loader will be held responsible.
This highlights the customs dual role, generating revenue and safeguarding the country's borders from hazardous materials.
And now today's sad lead story, a melancholic morning today in Matom, a locality in the central region of the country, where at least 7 persons lost their lives earlier today in a road accident which happened in Matom, some kilometers away from Yaoundé. The double accident happened following a collision of a truck and a transport bus, and as passengers were being assisted, another bus bumped into those assisting. The first victims, and local authorities say several persons died on the spot and others have been rushed to the hospital. Innocent Azet tells us more about a sad Tuesday in Matom.
6 persons dead and 5 others injured. This is the result of the second accident that occurred on Tuesday morning on the National Road number 3 linking Yaoundé and Douala, precisely around Matom. It involved a truck and a bus that was transporting 19 passengers from Eseka to Yaoundé. According to reports, this tragedy resulted from the first accident at about 7 a.m. involving 2 trucks, one transporting timber from Yaoundé to Douala and the other transporting flour from Douala to Yaoundé. Both collided, blocking the road, thus paralyzing circulation on both sides. The second accident happened later when the bus with 19 passengers stationed like other vehicles as a result of the first accident got rammed by a heavy-duty truck that suffered brake failure. The death toll could have been higher, as well as the toll of injured persons, if most of the passengers had not gone out to ease themselves. The second accident occurred about 100 meters from the first. A traveler blocked in the traffic for about 7 hours expressed frustration.
Un triple accident où il y a eu des morts et autres vraiment. Depuis 7 heures du matin, nous sommes là rendus à 11 heures, passé presque midi.
He also blames the accident on lack of road safety measures and implores the state and road safety personnel to improve safety on the National Road number 3, which has been a death trap for years.
Les autorités prennent des mesures pour pouvoir voir le problème de cette route et comprendre que les Camerounais souffrent.
Present on the scene upon hearing of the deadly accident was the senior divisional officer for the Nyong-Ankele division of the Central Region and his entourage, who stated that 5 passengers of the bus died on the spot, while 1 victim amongst the 6 injured passengers died at the Yaoundé Military Hospital, where they were rushed to. Remains of the 5 passengers who died on the spot have been deposited in the morgue of the Ngogmapobi District Hospital in the Nyong-Ankele division. Circulation was timidly established on one track at about 2 p.m. The other track remained paralyzed until the arrival of the senior divisional officer, who ensured the trucks be towed off the road.
Our sincere condolences to the bereaved families and a quick or speedy recovery to all those injured in that road accident. Now we talk something else. The publisher of the Guardian Post newspaper, Christian Gar, has reiterated that federation is a solution to the Anglophone crisis or the Anglophone problem. This is contained in a letter Christian Gar wrote to President Paul Biya that was in the year 2013. Babila Jonathan tells us more.
Dictate trouble. 3 years later, the trouble showed up, and it has been raging for close to a decade. In 2013, the publisher and editor-in-chief of the Guardian Post daily newspaper, Christian told the President of the Republic that the marginalization of Anglophones is a threat to national unity. In his open letter to the President of the Republic, he highlighted marginalization of Anglophones in appointment to positions of responsibility, in infrastructural development, a deliberate attempt to strangle the English subsystem of education, and a bleak future for Anglophone media.
I want to congratulate Mr. Nga Christian for writing that letter to the head of state. It's an act of responsibility. If you see something in your nation that is not good, something that is going to create problems, instead of complaining on the streets, in the bars, it's good to write a decent letter to the president to say, Mr. President. But whether the president got the letter or not is another thing, because we also know that there are a lot of blocks on the way. Sometimes you send things to the president and they hardly ever get there. So we still have to hear from the president whether he got Mr. Nga's letter.
To Nga Christian, the arrest of activists of the Southern Cameroon's National Council, SCNC, is not the solution to the decade-long Anglophone problem.
It's the marginalization of the Anglophone that has caused all these problems. You know, before now, the Anglophone was considered a second-class citizen, somebody you could kick around. Some people will refer to them as Anglophone, and all these divisions and so on. We are not Anglophones. And we are not second-class citizens. We are saying that we are human beings that need to be respected and treated with care and love. And we need to treat each other like that.
He tells the president, facts have proven that the military option and decentralization have failed to solve the problems created by marginalization to consolidate the country's unity.
Unity is not something that you enforce by a decree. Unity is not something that you enforce with an army. Unity is not something that you enforce by all ministers, you know, shouting on television and insulting people with prefers and so on. That's not how you get unity. Yes, we are united in the Constitution. Yes, we are united, but the real unity is not what is in the Constitution. The real unity is the unity of hearts. It's that love that we share with each other, and that's what we should be looking for. And when we are talking about unity of the nation, it's not about the military.
He goes further to say,
Mr. President, as experience has shown, a federal form of government offers a pragmatic, result-oriented administration for a country like Cameroon with diverse specificities. One of the reasons why power mongers are often frightened when federalism is mentioned is the phobia of ceding power and becoming weaker. But that, Your Excellency, isn't true. The federal government is often richer and more powerful than the states combined.
Federalism is thus seen as the panacea for the marginalization of the two English-speaking regions.
And now we take you to news out of the country. Joseph Kabila, the former president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, has arrived in Goma amid rising political tensions. He is accused by current president Felix Tshisekedi of supporting the M23 rebels. Kabila returned shortly after a speech broadcast from abroad. And in Algeria, 3 former presidential candidates for the 2024 elections have been sentenced to 10 years in prison for electoral fraud as part of a larger anti-corruption effort. Meanwhile, a video of French President Emmanuel Macron's wife, Brigitte, slapping him has gone viral on social media, but Macron claims it was just a joke. Let's now have our foreign page roundup with Lucille Ngoisi.
Former President Joseph Kabila of the Democratic Republic of Congo has arrived in Goma, a city located in the eastern parts of the country. His arrival comes at a time when the country is experiencing heightened political and security tensions. The M23 rebels, who have been controlling the capital of North Kivu since January, confirmed that Kabila is in Goma. Current President Felix Tshisekedi has accused Kabila of supporting the M23 rebels and other groups that are causing problems in the region. Kabila's return to the DRC is noteworthy because it happens just 3 days after he delivered a rare 45-minute speech that was streamed on YouTube while he was abroad. Meanwhile, in Algeria, 3 former candidates for the 2024 presidential election have been sentenced to 10 years in prison for committing electoral fraud. This case is part of a broader anti-corruption effort in Algeria. The defendants include Saïda Nexsa, former Minister Belkacem Sali, and Abdel Hakim Hamadi. They are accused of paying for signatories that were needed to run in the presidential elections last September. All 3 denied the charges and claimed that the legal proceedings were politically motivated. In another story, a video showing Brigitte Macron, the wife of French President Emmanuel Macron, slapping him has gone viral on social media, raising concerns. The footage shows the couple appearing to argue on their plane just as they arrive in Vietnam for Macron's Southeast Asia tour. In the video, after the plane's doors open, Macron seems to be speaking to Brigitte when she suddenly reaches out and slaps him. French President Emmanuel Macron looked surprised but quickly turned to wave at the cameras. Later, Emmanuel Macron explains that it was just a joke between them and not a real fight, dismissing any rumors of conflict.
And now we talk sports, viewers. Cameroon will play 2 friendly matches during the June 2025 international break. The coach, Marc Brice, has unveiled the list of players called up for these matches. A total of 25 players have been selected, including 3 local players. What is head coach Marc Brice looking for? What are the qualities he is looking for? Our reporter, Cedric Chakutio, spoke with a sports analyst and compared this report for the news.
The matches against Uganda and Equatorial Guinea on June 6th and 9th in Marrakesh, Morocco approaches, the Indomitable Lions head coach Marc Brice presented his list of 25 players who will be off the trip. A strange list, according to sports analysts.
I believe the list published by Marc Brice for these friendlies is quite strange. We have essentially new players coming into the squad, and I think putting in place a list corresponds to an objective, and each friendly you play has a specific objective. So I believe from what we see from the list, the objective is to test new players.
The absence of Andre Onana, Brian Bomo or Frank Zambo-Anguissa in the list should not create debates.
I think it's not related to the upcoming AFCON or World Cup qualifiers. It's just related to the fact that he is looking for players to reinforce his squad. And equally, if you look in the goalkeeper department, these are players who have always been second-choice goalkeepers, and it's an opportunity for them.
Serge Dura, Boris Fumu and Florent Batum are some of the new players, most of whom have performed well at club level and have been awaited by Cameroonian football observers for some time. To sports analyst Laurent Skede, the coach seems to be banking on an alchemy of experience and freshness with the aim of building a competitive team for upcoming international competitions.
Talking of the new players, I think we are very excited to see what can offer Dora of Gazelle, Batum of Dinamo of Douala, and Fumu of AS Fortuna. These are regular players and the best goal scorers of the local championship, and I think it will be interesting to see whether they will be put in place, whether they will come in and play alongside Vincent Abubakar is going to give them experience.
If this strategy carries a risk, especially in case of counter-performances, it mostly testifies to a willingness to build a team. Marc Brice fully assumes his choices and seems determined to expand his selection base, confident that the strength of the Indomitable Lions is also based on the depth of their workforce.
Thank you, Cedric. And before we go, viewers, these images just getting into our studios. They are the images of a decomposed body which was discovered, that was later today in the afternoon at the Terminus neighborhood, not far away from the Douala International Airport. We are there in the Douala 3 subdivision. The corpse was discovered by local inhabitants, but they can't explain what happened to the victim, who was already beyond recognition because the body was already in an advanced state of decomposition. Security forces were alerted by the local inhabitants for investigations to be opened. And thank you so much, viewers, for being with us. Sorry we won't be having Talking Point tonight due to circumstances beyond our control. That was what we put together for you this evening on the news. Thank you for always being with us, viewers. Don't go away. Our programs continue. Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. with Sagaleng, and the news in the French language with more details comes up at 8 p.m. with Irish Ngonamala. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television, and see you again tomorrow, same time, God willing. Bye-bye for now.